Hello everyone and welcome. Let's talk about all of those Zelda rumors and leaks and clear up some misinformation as well as give an update. We have actually talked about this on a couple of episodes of our podcast, the 𝐓𝐼𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐾ast, but I feel a dedicated video might clear up any misinformation some might have. I'll try to have as much information or proof on screen as I can to prove everything we've said did happen or will happen, and debunk misinformation about certain things. What misinformation though? Well, it is only a few, as most of you actually pay attention to our videos. But I've had 2 or 3 comments from people saying I was clickbaiting and lying about games releasing or being announced at E3 that didn't end up happening. Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD, Ocarina of Time HD, Majora's Mask HD, an Oracle collection, a big HD Zelda collection, and many, many more. Most of you know this isn't true. In fact, I would say around 99% of the stuff we did say was going to happen did happen, or has yet to happen, for one specific game. On several episodes of our podcast and in several different videos, we have only stated Ocarina of Time HD would be announced, but most likely wouldn't even be mentioned or hinted at until after Skyward Sword HD releases, as Nintendo is very aware of the negative feedback it received after being announced, as well as the additional negative feedback due to the amiibo controversy being priced higher than normal amiibo and locking a feature a lot of people want behind a paywall for an amiibo that they can't even buy because of scalpers. We'll get into more details on Ocarina of Time in a moment, but first, let's take a look at everything we did say would happen that did, to quickly sum up, so we can get to the stuff people are wrongly saying we said would happen. For a long time, I've been saying I believe Tantalus has been working on Skyward Sword HD. It would receive amiibo support, most likely a new Loftwing amiibo, and it would have optional motion controls and traditional controls, despite tons of people calling me liar and quoting Nintendo saying they had no plans for Skyward Sword HD, or that it would be impossible without motion controls, saying we were proven wrong and we're just clickbaiting. Well, the game was announced with all the stuff we said it would be. In fact, with the Nintendo Direct it was announced at, I was sent an email with some information in it that I made a video about. Some of you may remember it. I had a video upload saying a Nintendo Direct was going to be announced. Even better, I had that video scheduled to go live on the exact day and the exact time that I was told Nintendo would be publicly announcing the Nintendo Direct. Then, the day before the Nintendo Direct, I made this tweet, though Daniel doesn't let me claim it, that we would see Skyward Sword HD revealed, Age of Calamity DLC, Zelda-themed hardware, and Breath of the Wild 2. And we got everything I said, sort of. Daniel doesn't let it count because it was only half right on Breath of the Wild 2. They did talk about it, but only that we would be getting more details on a later date. Then I was told something Zelda related would be coming in April. I was the only person saying this, and I asked everyone about it, but no one knew anything. And First 4 Figures announced their Champion Series statues. In one of the conversations I had with the voice actors of Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity, they said they had no idea these statues were being made, which makes me wonder how the person who sent me the email knew. I think after this, we stated several times that Nintendo would be releasing details or a trailer for Skyward Sword HD and Age of Calamity DLC, if not both, in May. With this, I had several comments saying clickbait, why would Nintendo make 2 announcements so close to E3? It doesn't make sense. Well, what happened? New details listing everything in the DLC, and a new trailer for Skyward Sword revealing the Loftwing amiibo. Oddly enough, I was told something was going to be coming that specific Monday, but nothing Zelda was revealed until Tuesday, so that was off by 1 day. Around this time, more rumors about a big Zelda 35th anniversary was coming, which we did discuss in a couple of videos and on our podcast, but we said we didn't think a direct like the Mario Anniversary Direct would happen. It could, but I didn't think it was likely as it seemed Nintendo had already split it up into multiple announcements instead of everything at once, which for now seems to be true. We had multiple Zelda announcements or reveals over the course of several months, from the first Nintendo Direct this year until even after E3 we are still getting new details about Skyward Sword HD. For E3, we reported months before that Nintendo would be releasing some Zelda stuff similar to the Mario Anniversary. We have yet to see Zelda-themed Animal Crossing DLC, but I think that is coming, as the person was correct about everything else. And, just like Mario, we did end up getting a Zelda Game & Watch. About a week before the Nintendo Switch OLED model was announced, I received an email saying a new Switch model was being revealed. I also have a friend who works as a manager at GameStop, who told me that a brand new SKU for the Nintendo Switch had appeared on their system. I mentioned this in a few different videos, and the day before the Nintendo Switch OLED was announced, I posted on Twitter, just as I did before the Direct, and all of the other Zelda stuff, that something should be coming tomorrow, and it did. However, I will say I had been hearing so many things about a new Switch that I didn't really believe the email. The writer who had correct information on Breath of the Wild 2 had not once mentioned anything about a Switch Pro to me. Just Breath of the Wild 2, Ocarina of Time HD, and some small Metroid stuff. So I thought if a Switch Pro was 100% coming, he would have mentioned it, and hasn't. Now it makes sense. If nothing about a Pro or upscaled version had gone through localization, well, why would it? Since the new Switch model isn't a Pro, nothing about the game's text should change, or say anything about a normal Switch version or an enhanced version for an upgraded console. So I didn't make a video, but on the off chance that a new Switch was being announced, I did put out the tweet teasing it in hopes that it was true. Another strange coincidence on one of our podcasts, one of our viewers kept asking questions about, did we think it was odd that Nintendo hasn't said anything about the quality of life changes to Skyward Sword HD, with the game releasing so soon and E3 already passing. I don't think this was really anything, just a coincidence, because within 12 hours, Nintendo uploaded a new trailer with a bunch of quality of life changes being announced. Around the same time the Zelda rumors were coming in, I made a video talking about Nintendo's online service, how they were going to be updating it, and how I felt they would start giving new online multiplayer updates to certain games. I used Age of Calamity as an example, as that was what I thought would be first, but the first ended up being Super Mario Party. Now, before we get into the individual Zelda remakes, this, I think, is everything that I said would happen, and 99% of it did happen. We were told a bunch of other stuff, like Link having a time control ability in Breath of the Wild 2, some Metroid stuff, that it was going to be at E3, but took that as Metroid Prime 4 or the Trilogy Collection, not Metroid Dread. There were a bunch of other stuff, but you can check previous videos for those details, and we know a few things that we never reported on, but 100% know are true, and are coming. But due to certain friendships, can't comment on it. But I can promise you will eventually know exactly what we're talking about. As for us covering all of these rumors for clickbait, not at all. We even refused to post videos about a lot of rumors that was going around. And not only were we told very specific things, but we also figured out some other stuff, most of it being Zelda related, but refused to make videos talking about any of it. If we were just wanting to post clickbait to get views, we would have posted everything we heard, or even made up our own rumors, not sit on important information that would guarantee a lot of money from the clicks if we were to make it into a video. On a couple of our podcasts, we even mentioned that we weren't going to make a video about certain stuff, which caused some people to unsubscribe. So if we were just in it for the clickbait, we would have talked about it, as well as making up new fake rumors every day to cash in on all the hype, but we didn't. Technically, we did the exact opposite, by not talking about certain stuff that we did know would make successful videos, and was 100% true. What about the big HD Zelda collection and all of the other Zelda games I said were coming? Well, we only said Ocarina of Time HD, none of the other remakes. In fact, we actually made dedicated videos trying to debunk a lot of the fake rumors. Yes, we did report on rumors of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, and gave our opinions on it. However, that was it. We made videos talking about those rumors, coming from trusted people or insiders in the gaming industry who claimed they knew they were coming. However, in all of these we stated we had not heard anything personally, only that others are saying they are coming. We only had information about the stuff we said we knew. With the games we tried debunking, a rumor was being spread and posted everywhere that Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons were being remade in HD by Grezzo using the same engine they used for Link's Awakening. Despite me making a few different videos giving reasons as to why this wasn't true and mentioning it many times during other videos or when people asked us about it during our podcast, well, this is kind of hilarious, and is the definition of irony, as well as a great example of how some people will just read a title and don't actually pay attention to the actual video. Otherwise, someone who is in it just for the clickbait. In this video titled Rumor, Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons HD Collection, and Ocarina of Time HD and Majora's Mask HD, I spend most of the video stating the rumor is not true, and giving real evidence as to why. Then at the end, stating Ocarina of Time HD was the believable game. Yet, websites like this took my video and wrongly created articles stating I was saying the Oracle games would release, which was the exact opposite of the entire video. At the time, I just facepalmed at the poor job these websites were doing and joked about it with friends or those who sent screenshots of the websites. However, now it seems some people are seeing these and believing their misleading reporting. So a couple of those negative comments aren't from people that actually watched my videos, but from people that clicked on stupid websites like this, that did absolutely no research, simply trying to take real information and turn it into their own clickbait to cash in on the hype. A Zelda HD collection. This is simple. For the past several months, we have all been saying we do not believe a Zelda HD collection or the rumored Triforce collection was coming. Nintendo just released Link's Awakening and Skyward Sword HD separately at full price. They released the Super Mario 3D All-Stars games at a full price, and they were basically just being emulated. Most of the remakes or ports they release are full price. Why would Nintendo then release an HD collection of 3 different Zelda games for only $60 when they know 100% they could make 3 or 4 times as much money by releasing them individually? Ocarina of Time HD alone would quickly become one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. It would be the dumbest business decision Nintendo could make. Although, for us fans, it would be pretty great. But Nintendo would not do it for the simple reason they would be missing out on hundreds of millions of dollars. If you stayed until the end of this, I have another video coming out tomorrow or the next day discussing some new rumors that I've had in my email, which some of you have requested. There may be even a few surprises in there. We're also getting really close to our 100,000 subscriber giveaway goal, where we will be giving away some signed Breath of the Wild amiibo, thanks to some of our amazing friends who voice act on Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity being so wonderful to us. And if you want even more Breath of the Wild or Age of Calamity behind the scenes details, check out any of our mini interviews with all of the different voice actors from the games, some of which we've had on 3 or 4 different times, and every time we've had them on the podcast or other videos, it's always some of the most fun that we and the live chat have, which makes the interviews even better to go back and listen to, because if they weren't having fun, they wouldn't have returned and came back on 3 or 4 different times. So a huge thank you to them. We may be having one coming back on in the near future, but with all of that out of the way, thank you all so much for watching.